All right, Three Questions Podcast. My name's Cam. Welcome back. This is episode number 96. I've taken some time off of podcasting. I get a hot streak. I want to do it. I think about it all the time. And then I end up taking like a month-long break, which is not cool because if you follow the podcast, I like to put out episodes every single week. And I don't just want to dump a couple podcasts here and there. I want to be more consistent. So this is my commitment to you. If this is your first time on Three Questions Podcast, here's how it works. So I will read three questions. They're either personal or business based, relating from my business, my consulting company, CK Collective. Our website is ckcollective.co, where I talk to people about personal tactics and business tactics, pretty much from breakups to business. That's kind of the catchphrase that's coming to light. And I like working with people stemming from breakups or heartbreak simply because it's such an opportunity to transmute that pain into power, passion, profit, you name it. And I think it's a beautiful journey. It was my journey into entrepreneurship. It was my journey into several other avenues. And I felt like some of the most difficult aspects of my life when I was going through it and the people that helped me through it really had an impact on me. And I'll remember those people forever because there's just a lot of power there. You don't always have to be a victim. So I like to teach people how to not be a victim, how to empower themselves, and to teach people that they are the conscious co-creator of what's going on in their life. Anyways, Three Questions Podcast. I like to relate these either to a personal or business related issue. Tonight, we're going to go three questions on how to not give a fuck. I will read the first question, and then we'll go into me kind of answering for 4 or 5 minutes about that until I kind of stop rambling. Hopefully you get something quick. I started this podcast because I just was getting a lot of podcasts where people just kind of had conversations. There was no end to it. I don't really like the 4 or 5 hour long podcasts. I like the hard hitting ones. So one question, as much of a succinct answer as I can give and you can get, and then we move on. Okay. You can submit questions. A lot of my clients submit questions. These ones I kind of thought about today. Were kind of ringing in my head. So I'm going to set my watch right now. It is 7:34 on a Friday night, and I'll go till 7:39 here. But question number one, if no one could judge you, what would you stop apologizing for immediately? I would stop apologizing for being a content creator. I guess I wouldn't say that I'm an influencer, but I'm building a business and there is a public persona attached to this, and it's not so kosher in other aspects of my life, whether it be with family or my current professional career. There are some things where I've gotten a lot of judgments, and that's tough. And I think that's part of the reason why I put a pause on podcasting. So if no one could judge me, what would I stop apologizing for immediately? I would stop apologizing for this, and I really should. But even when I'm in some of those aforementioned circles, we'll say, I notice that I put my head down. I avoid eye contact because there's an aspect of shame associated with putting yourself out on the internet. At first, I kind of gaslit myself and was like, oh, maybe they're just jealous doing this. But I think there's really like a lot of like, wow, who does he think he is, associated with some people that I work with. I have definitely heard it. Some guys have been man enough to tell me what they think about that, and I appreciate that and respect that and their opinions. I kind of fell into this content creator as a way to heal myself and showcase my own journey. I think it was much more beneficial for me to work on a business over the weekend at night instead of going out and partying and then just not doing this. This work allowed me to really heal. And as I get to work with and teach other people how to heal, it's super, super impactful. I mean, I've had clients at this point all over the world, and I hear their stories and I see what they're working on and I get to know them. And then I see their successes. I see them building businesses. I see them letting go, emotionally strengthening themselves. And it's these kinds of stories that really empower me to want to continue to do this kind of work. I don't prefer the term life coach. I think more of a mentor because, hey, I'm out there playing the game too, trying to do my best. But when I see people really start to thrive and when I see people really start to make progress because I can teach them things about energy and anatomy or manifesting or meditations, you name it. When I see people really start to make progress in their own lives and succeed, like that feels phenomenal. I don't think there's a better feeling in the world than seeing someone leave their job and then go and start a new business or get into a healthier, better relationship or start making 30K a month when they went out on a limb to do all of this on their own. So it's these kinds of things that really do inspire me. There have been several times where I've thought about quitting as well. If you're new to the community or just listening to this podcast, like I have definitely thought about quitting more than once, more than twice. This summer, I definitely took a break for, 2.5 months, and I needed it. I thought about shutting it down for good because I was just going through some personal and professional turmoil at that point. And yeah, I would like to stop apologizing for that because I see this as being a legacy company, not because it's my name, not because I want to be the face of it, but I think we're creating a movement, creating a trend, all my clients included, of like, hey, we don't need to be victims here. We're conscious co-creators, and this is what I want out of life, and I'm gonna go get it, right? And I'm gonna cut people out and stop waiting for other people to make decisions. And it's a movement of people getting their power back, which is the most amazing thing in the world. So that's really my big answer. If no one could judge me, what would I stop apologizing for? It's being myself, having this business, speaking authentically about healing, about improving for both men and women. I'm really proud of that, and I feel like I've had an impact on a number of people, and that is right now one of the greatest honors of my life, probably one of the greatest. Okay, so question number two. Whose approval are you still paying for with your time, energy, or peace, and why? Whose approval are you still paying for with your time, energy, and or peace? Hmm. My first initial thought was my client's approval, right? The internet's approval, but I don't do any of this for approval. I did this actually, as a matter of fact, for about 5 years before I even had 1,000 followers. I don't think I had an Instagram account or a TikTok account for the first maybe 2 or 3 years of me doing this, and then I didn't hit my 1,000 followers until when? 2025, maybe, right? Maybe late 2024. But it was pretty honestly, it was kind of depressing. I was just doing this and I was just adding to the noise of the internet, right? I wasn't making videos yet, but I had a couple podcasts and I had a couple clients here and there. They're just like word of mouth type stuff. And I didn't really see it as being a big thing now. And now I guess that I have what, over 60,000 followers total on TikTok and Instagram. Like, hey, that's a pretty big city and that's awesome. But even if I had 600, I would still be doing the same kind of podcast. I don't let it go to my head. I'm not really seeking approval, but I do think that it's my own, right? I'm still seeking my own approval of myself. I'm giving myself permission to be myself. I'm giving myself the approval to speak authentically without recourse. I'm not trying to edit things or make it look flashy. And I think it's just a verification of me to me saying, hey, I am this person. I am this authentic person. Here are my thoughts. Here's my feelings. Sometimes I say stuff on calls with clients and I go, oh, wow, I haven't really thought about that before. So I'm seeking my own approval, my own confirmation of who really is Cam at this point. And I think that's really the only approval process that we need as people. I think when I work with people who are getting out of breakups, so often I see people seeking external validation from their ex or another person or in the dating pool. I see this a lot with my female clients. They're seeking the approval of the ex or the boyfriend or someone else to make them feel good. And it's so incredible when I see them actually branch off on their own and start to validate themselves by themselves, with themselves, right? There's no need for another person in the picture, and they give themselves permission to love themselves, to be themselves, to do the work that they love on their own. And that's really, really, really empowering. I love seeing that. Okay. So that's kind of my answer for whose approval are you still paying for with your time, energy, and peace? Yeah, it's my own. Would I rather be hanging out on a Friday night watching a movie and just all my electronics are off? Yeah, but it's been a while since I've done a podcast, and I really do want to create more of this content for my clients, content for people that watch the community. I know I make some fiery videos on the internet sometimes, but I get a lot of DMs from young people or people saying, "Oh, how do I let go?" and I miss him, and is he gonna come back, and all this and all that. Like that is you don't even realize the journey that you're about to go on. Like your spiritual process is about to get so awesome and exciting, and so, all the ups and downs, and you're gonna love the journey looking back. So I get excited about that. All right, question number three. What would you do differently this week if you fully accepted that most people don't actually care, and that itself is freedom? Oof. Need a sip of water for that one. What would you do differently this week if you fully accepted that most people don't actually care? And that's freedom. Hmm. Damn. That one's got me stumped. What would I do differently this week if I realized most people don't care? Hmm. I think I would honestly give myself permission to less pressure. I would put less pressure on myself. I put a lot of pressure on myself running three e-commerce, or two e-commerce brands and then CK Collective. So I have three businesses on the side. And I put a lot of pressure on me to run and perform with those. I think sometimes, oh, if I just make one more social post, if I make one more product, if I make one more item, if I redesign this label, if I redesign this website, okay, if I just make a story, if I just email 10 more businesses to tell them about my business, to try and partnership, if I just make one more vendor application this week to try and get my stuff into stores, then I'll crack the code to making 20, 30, 40, 50K a month. I put a lot of pressure on myself. And if most people don't actually care, it's not that they don't care about my businesses, it's not that they don't care about me, but everyone has their own stuff that they're dealing with. And so I think sometimes us as humans, we put so much pressure on what we think other people think about us, for us, because of us. And in reality, it's like being in traffic. If you look inside the other cars and with everybody else in traffic, everyone's dealing with their own shit, right? Number one, there's only traffic because everyone's on their phones, right? Everyone's eating or drinking or trying to get to some meeting or trying to run some errand. Everyone's dealing with their own shit. It's not that nobody actually cares. It's that everyone's dealing with their own shit. So why do we care so much about what other people think about us? Right? So I'm gonna give myself less pressure and say, hey, things are looking up and working out exactly as they should be. There's nothing that I need to do, there's nothing that I should do. It's not the next thing that's gonna get it. It's not the next video that's gonna get me 100,000 followers. It's not the next email that I send. It's staying consistent with whatever process I can maintain over a long period of time. If that's one podcast a week, if it's one podcast a month, who cares? I am just going to stay with it and do that and trust the process that either these companies or this business will either take off or it will be very, very clear that this is no longer a viable opportunity for me. Okay. So those would be my answers for those three questions. And yeah, I appreciate you guys listening very much. I want to get more guests on for Three Questions Podcast. If you would like to come on, do a short, hard-hitting podcast, I would love your input. We can work with anything. If you have a business that you want to share about, if you want to share your story, we'll come up with three good questions and get you on here. So send me a DM if you're listening to this. Send me an email, threequestionspodcast@gmail.com or info@ckcollective.co. And yeah, I wish you guys well. Please leave a rating for this episode or the podcast in general. It helps reach other people out there. And again, submit questions however you want via DM. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode. This has been episode number 96. My name's Cam, and I'll see you guys very soon.